This is Cadillac Unscripted on 1079 CDY. It's sponsored by Independent Bank. Katie Huckle is my co-host, but she is away this time, so I'm flying solo. And I've got Cadillac Area Public Schools Superintendent Jennifer Brown with me this morning for a special back-to-school edition. Good morning, Jen. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Well, and here we go. We're just 2 days away from the start of school. As you and I were just talking about, summers go so fast. The older we get, the faster the summers are, even though it's this technically the same number of days. But how about we start with the fact that more and more schools are starting prior to Labor Day now. It used to be a rule that you had to start after Labor Day, and things are changing. They're evolving.
They are.
So how is that?
You know, I have mixed feelings about it because I just love our August in northern Michigan. You know, really the beautiful weather. It's just lovely in northern Michigan. But I think the consensus is kids are back in activities, are back at sports and band and music, and tourism is going down. So schools all over the state used to start before Labor Day, then they went after Labor Day, and now they're kind of back to before Labor Day. So it makes sense for schools to get back after it, and parents are probably itching for their kids to get back at school as well. But it is the downside of that is we miss out on some of the most beautiful weather in northern Michigan.
Starting before Labor Day, so there are two schools of thought, but in my opinion, starting before Labor Day opens up some dates during the school year that you can have maybe a 3-day weekend here or a 4-day weekend there.
Yes. In the state of Michigan, you have to have 180 school days with student academic days, and certainly gives you more flexibility with the calendar if you're starting before Labor Day to give maybe 2 weeks at Christmas. That's a big deal for a lot of our families. We do a February break, which allows us to do a lot of enrichment and give some off-peak time to families if they want a vacation.
There will be another week off in February 2025.
Yes.
Okay.
February President's Day week we'll have off. Of course, we are providing free programming for all kids, K through 8th grade, so we're not hurting families with childcare. So our families will get a survey, a registration option for any of that programming. We really look at that as an opportunity to expose kids to lots of enrichment opportunities, fun activities, get them out of Cadillac, too, for some cool field trips. And we had a great time last year. We'll build on that this year, and our families gave us a lot of very positive feedback. Those who participated were excited about it again.
What did you do in 2024? Because my kids came home and just kind of hung out. But what kind of things did you do, and are you planning?
Yeah, so we did a field trip every day. So kids went to anything from the movies, stayed local, Carl T. Johnson. We went to Cabernet. We took them to a water park. We went to a fish hatchery. We have plans maybe this year to go to Lansing, the capital, down to Grand Rapids to do the Children's Museum. Lots of theater options as well. So we're really looking at ways to reinforce the learning that happens, but in the more of an enrichment lens. And we also have embedded remediation and intervention as well as part of the day. So getting kids excited. We want it to be fun. It's still a break, right? So we want to make sure that they have fun and they appreciate those opportunities. Lots of STEM, STEAM, arts opportunities for our kids as well.
So we have seen in a very tangible way over the past couple of years the use of the millage. Give us an update on what has recently been completed, like maybe within maybe since we visited with you last about 12 months ago, and what is happening this year.
Sure. So we are really excited and appreciative of the investment the community made in Cadillac Area Public Schools, and this is our final phase of that work. So last year we were coming back to school. We were at the high school doing a lot of construction, building an addition, 30 classroom additions. So that part of that high school finished up at Christmas, and our kids moved into the new area. So since Christmas of last year, we've been working on what was the high school and also our exterior. So all of our science rooms, we have esports programming now. We have an adolescent wellness center that we moved from what was the junior high into its new space, which is a really cool clinic space. Our high school annex is going to be Cadillac Innovation High School, so that's being worked on right now. So it's been a very busy 6 to 10 months, and we are excited to be finished for the first day of school, except some parking lots. So all of our interior space is going to be ready for the first day with kids on Monday, and our student parking lot is probably going to be a week later.
Is that because it was such a rainy summer?
We
Because this was the rainiest
wet,
summer
yes.
in memory.
We had some weather delays, certainly. We had some surprise drainage and surveying. Those parking lots are really complex, and we added student parking. So we took an opportunity to really make sure we were doing it right and getting the drainage beneath the asphalt to work and function properly, which caused a few delays. So we'll get there. It's not ideal. We would love to be just done and walking away first day with kids, but we have plenty of parking for our students, and we'll get through this as the last hurdle.
Okay. So you said this is the last phase.
Yes.
What and I know innovation is in a different location, right? That's now across the street from the high school, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm sure you probably want to thank Baker for all the years of their partnership with you.
Yes, Baker is an outstanding partner. I mean, a beautiful classroom setting wing, and we will continue our partnership with Baker. We do a lot of dual enrollment. We have our MSU Extension, who we partner with all of our enrichment programming and support for kids. They'll continue in our partnership as well. Yeah, we can't say enough great about Baker and what they were able to provide our kids.
What are you looking forward to most about 2024-25?
Well, I look forward to not having construction meetings on Wednesdays.
Was that a once-a-week deal?
It was, a full day a week. But mostly I'm excited about getting back into buildings and seeing not just the bricks and mortar, but incredible programming. We have just an amazing staff who love and support kids, and our commitment to the whole child and really building up connectedness is a huge focus for us last year, this year, and moving forward. We want to make sure that all of our kids really feel connected to school, not subject areas or tests or in preparation, but really feel connected in a sense of belonging at school. And it's really tricky because each one of our kids is their own dynamic, and they have likes and strengths and weaknesses and dislikes, and we really are emphasizing that connection to our kids to kids, kids to staff, kids to school. So it's a big deal for us, and there's nothing more rewarding than seeing that happening every day. So I'm really excited about that.
How do you do that? Because, you could have a classroom full of 25 kids and 25 different approaches to learning, 25 different approaches to life. How do you do that without getting into a one-size-fits-all type of situation?
So it's tricky because, we have to be really efficient too. We have a responsibility to grow our kids in their learning, but we also know that we can't grow kids in learning unless we get to know them first. So it's really taking the time, and our staff are some of the best in the business at really getting to know kids personally. So asking the questions, meeting them at the door, talking to them about last night and how did it go at your, band review. And, where I heard you're working at McDonald's, what's your work look like? Just really getting to know the kids genuinely, because they see through anything else. So it takes time. It takes an investment. Like I said, thankfully, we have the most incredible staff who are there for the right reasons. So making that a priority and giving permission to make it a priority. So we're not talking about test scores. And although those are important and we all want to see our kids perform, like, it's more important that we get to know them as human beings first.
So we've talked about what you're most excited about. What about your job is something you wish you could pawn off on somebody else?
Well, no job is perfect.
None of them are.
There's good and bad in all jobs. I don't think there's any one part of my job I would pawn off. I think my one ask of people in general, and not just in schools, but I think just in our community, in the world, is to assume the best in each other. I think we make a lot of assumptions today with information that, we're inundated with information in our phones and the news and from people, and just
which may or may not be accurate.
Right. And I think making assumptions without really knowing, I would love for people just to assume the best in each other. And I think we would move far more smoothly forward and model far better behavior for our children if we were to do that.
So wake up optimistic, not pessimistic.
Right. And gratitude, grateful for what we have, because you can look around and find things that you would like different, and that might not be what you'd like them to be, but you can certainly find something good as well.
I always, when I wake up in the morning, and when I had kids at the high school, which I will again in a couple of years, but I always thought that was the best drive on Chestnut Street along Lake Cadillac, when the sun is coming up and you realize you live in one of the most beautiful cities in Michigan, that it's good to have that reminder every once in a while.
It really is. I mean, we take it for granted, but we have something special here. And I will tell you, if you're ever, our high school students have such a beautiful setting now. And in the morning, like, you can just go to the high school in the morning and the kids are sitting there watching the sunrise every morning. It's amazing. And those are the simple things that I think if we can focus on being grateful, it makes your day go better, right?
It does. It does. You've got a list of things. So we need to get to this list because we're already like 12 minutes into this show. So what are some dates to remember for we've got the open houses behind us at this point. Some dates to remember on your calendar, on the kids' calendar this year.
Well, certainly the first day of school is Monday. Our kindergarten students, it's more of an open house day, so we can really get to know our parents of our 5-year-olds. So that's really important. And also,
I do want to say, the first day of school. So you've got parents who are emotional because they have the kindergarten, they have the kids who are having their first day at middle school, the kids who are having their first day at high school. It's always a crazy time emotional for not only the kids, but for the parents too.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's exciting, but it's a little anxious.
It's exciting and scary at the same time.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's why we design our first day with kindergarten a little bit different, because the parents want to walk them down. It's their first day of school. So we have that as more of an open house for our kindergarten students. But
okay. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I've gone through so many first days as a father, that it's that Monday comes and there's anticipation and excitement and being scared, and you have a new situation with your kids, and they're moving from class to class, maybe where they didn't before, and it's just a new building.
And honestly, having 2 kids have gone through all of K-12 and off now, and one still in. Every year is the same. It doesn't matter if it's a senior year. Senior year is exciting. Junior year is different, right? So every year, I think the anticipation, excitement is really, it's just the same every year, but for different reasons.
And that is where your staff comes in and embraces the kids where they are, and you just mentioned that you have a very caring group of instructors and parapros and counselors, and that's very, very important.
It is.
What else do we have on the list there, Jen?
So we have our Hall of Fame induction. Our first home football game is on September 6th at 7 p.m. So that's really exciting. Of our beautiful Veterans Memorial Stadium. I feel like all of our events there now the community comes out and supports, because it's such a unique venue. And then one really important event coming up for our kids, as much as our community and our servicemen and women, is our Salute to Service Night, which is September 20th. Our kids, they do our Veterans Day assembly. We do a salute to service in the fall and the winter, and it's really important for our kids to know and understand how important that is, and to honor our servicemen and women. And it's such a good night for our servicemen and women, but more importantly for our kids to know and understand that sacrifice. And then homecoming, which is super exciting, parade, and that's a community event, is October 4th. It's an early release that Friday, so we'll have our festivities out there, and we'll publicize all of those. And then October 7th is our band review, which is one of my favorite. If you have never been or attended the band review, you must go.
Were you a band student, Jen?
I played flute until high school.
Okay.
I was not good. I mean, admittedly, a very poor band student. And I was a very small high school, so we didn't have a marching band. But our band is phenomenal, and the bands in our area are phenomenal. So to come watch them showcase, the first time I went, I was like, I can't believe I have never attended before. It's so cool. Lots of energy. So that's October 7th. And then Dig Pink is another really cool fall event for our volleyball program. They fundraise for breast cancer awareness and research. And what's really special about that fundraiser is those funds stay local at our hospital and help women in our community who are, with diagnostics and with treatment. So that's a pretty special event. So yeah, those are our upcoming fall events, and we could go on and on about winter, but let's stay focused on September, October.
Before the snow flies.
Yes.
So 26th coming, and we're like a little less than 48 hours away from getting started here. What do you tell your team in advance of day one?
Remember, like we just talked about, remember where the kids are in their space. Our staff are back last week. So they are ready. Their classrooms are ready. Their anxieties have subdued, right? Even like our students, our staff, leading up to the day they report, get anxious and excited and all the same things our students really feel, but at a different level for different reasons. So they're stable now. They're on their feet. Now we have to remember that's where our kids are coming to us. So taking that extra moment, and they're so good. We don't do tardies on the first day. We don't, razz kids. We're out there helping kids with their locker combinations. We're, helping kids unpack their backpacks if they're little and finding their bus, those types of things, meeting the kids at the door. So we really go above and beyond to tend to those feelings of excitement and anxiety and reassure our kids. So just reminding them, like, take the time to do that, because I think sometimes we feel like pressured to jump into social studies or a reading lesson, and those things are really important, but to take the time to comfort and have fun and get to know the kids is really critical.
This is how many years as the CAP superintendent now, Jen?
This is my 10th year.
10th year. Mm-hmm. How many years in education overall?
This will be my 28th year.
28th year. Mm-hmm. You started when you were about 5 or 6,
yes,
I think, right?
Exactly.
So what do you see as the biggest difference? So let's go back 28 years. Let me do the math in my head. So that's going to be 1996, 7, something like that. So what is the biggest difference in students? Not necessarily isolating it down to a year, but the biggest difference that you see in 2024 as compared to 1997?
I think there are some real constants, like this sense of belonging and identity, I think, is really developmentally the constant in kids. But I think the number one thing that has really shifted for kids and for then the adults, and I'm talking about parents who support our children, is this pressure with social media and technology and this constant highlight reel that is in their face everywhere they go. And I can't imagine living and growing up with that type of pressure, although not real. Like, it's a false pressure. We keep telling our kids, like, that's not real. This is not real. It's not.
And that is hard.
Life,
that's hard to get through a developing brain.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
And it's because it's a constant reminder for them. So when they're on, and as adults, same thing. It's almost like we're inundated with it as well, but at least we have a little bit more perspective, hopefully. Not always, but hopefully. Mm-hmm. So I think that's been the biggest change in supporting kids through that and making sure they're aware that not everybody has it easy. Not everybody has all the things, because when they're looking at their phone, that's the appearance, right? Nobody posts their down days, very rarely anyway.
Some people do, but most people, you get the highlight reel.
And then people are critical of them, of everybody on social media. You have friends and family who are positive and affirming of your feeling and viewpoint, but more so than not, there's a negative response, and then how to digest that. And they're not equipped with a lot of those skills. So supporting our kids socially and emotionally has been so much more important as they grow and develop.
How about CAP's policy with regard to phones in schools? I've noticed that there have been some schools who have basically done a full stop, no phones in the classroom. They stay in your locker. I don't know where to go with this, because I'll tell you, as someone who is in a digital media production class where the media is always there, It's really hard to restrict that to at least certain times, but how does CAPS deal with that?
Yeah. So
and you can ask 10 different people their opinions on this and get 10 different opinions.
Absolutely. And I think you could ask me 10 different days, I might have different opinions on it depending on the day.
Yeah.
So I think what we do know is they're a big distraction.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a lot of heavy negative impact on adolescents. However, they're not going away.
Mm-mm.
So, in Cadillac, we're not allowing kids to have phones in the classroom K-8. And in ninth grade, we're really restricting that to only common time between classes or lunch. We really don't want the cell phone in the classroom. And then 10, 12, it's really teacher discretion. Because there are times in which a phone can be an instrument or a tool for learning. Now, we also provide a Chromebook. So most of those tools can be used in a Chromebook. But we also we have a responsibility to teach kids how to use a phone responsibly, when not to use a phone, the harm in phone use and what that can do. So I think we see that as an opportunity for learning and education. If I had a perfect world, I would say no phones, because I think the negative are far surpass the positive. However, they are here. They're not going anywhere. And managing that is really challenging for staff.
That might be the biggest difference between 1997 and 2024 right there.
Yes.
Because back then, you couldn't really stuff one in your pocket.
You couldn't hide that thing. No.
The antenna sticking out of it would hurt somebody.
In the bag it was attached to, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So biggest challenges that you think educators face in 2024?
Meeting the needs of each of our kids. I think what makes our students really exceptional and special are that they're unique. And I love that. And we celebrate that in Cadillac and should. So, but then meeting their individual needs becomes a real challenge when you might see 135 students in a day if I'm a high school teacher, or if I'm an elementary teacher, the needs of the student might not have as many, but the needs are more because they're not as independent. So making sure that, we meet the needs of our students and all that's expected of us in education, and then also taking care of ourselves. So I think there is a very big demand on educators, emotionally, physically, professionally, and I think that is a balance that we always strive for. People don't go into education because they're prideful. They're pretty humble folks, so asking for help and taking that time for self-care and to care for their own families is really important.
Your favorite time of the year. Now, you've gone, as an administrator, you've gone through 10 years of this. So we go from the end of, or the middle of August until like late May or early June. I would think that your favorite time of the year has to be the graduation ceremony, but I could be wrong. Favorite time of the year, Jen Brown, the time of year that Jen Brown circles with a red circle on the calendar.
100% fall.
Okay.
And I love graduation, right? Let's celebrate our seniors and a completion of a really incredible year. But I love fall. I love the weather. I love the feeling when we come back. I love the excitement. I even like the anxiety a little bit. Like I love a challenge to try to solve, and I love the return of teachers. I love the return of principals. I love the return of students. Like there's all of these really incredible feelings with the sense of a new beginning, right? And like we are going to do it this year. Like we're going to have an exceptional year, and I just love that. Every year, it doesn't get old.
Because every year is essentially a blank slate. Right?
It is. It's a new opportunity to do great, and we always can do better. So it's just like this really exciting opportunity.
It's true. It's true. All right. So next question is going to be. We talked about fall events. If you want to jump into the winter, we've got about 5 minutes left. So what is happening beyond October that we should have on our radar?
Sure. Well, like I said before, we have a great holiday break for the holidays, but we also have a February intercession break that we're busy planning now, because we surveyed our students, we surveyed our parents, like what are the experiences we want our Cadillac kids to have before they leave us. So looking at the world out there and the world around, what could be really enriching for our students. So planning that is what we're focusing on in this fall. So that's really exciting to look forward to. I think we had, about 300 kids participate. We're hoping about double that this year. I think people were skeptical on what we would be able to provide, but we really want to make sure that we maximize those opportunities for our students and families. And those who can take a vacation during that time, great. But most of our families stay here in Cadillac. So looking at what those experiences would be and how meaningful they can be is really exciting for winter. So I encourage parents to look forward for that for registration.
And that brings up another thing too, because if CAPS sends you out a survey, answer it. Be honest, right?
Yes.
I can't imagine that your response rate is 100%, even though you would love for it to be.
No, it's about 30%,
Really?
which is lower. It's above average for schools, but lower than we want.
What is the average for?
It's about 20.
Really?
25, yes.
One out of 5
4.
or 1 out of 4?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And that's okay, but to be better and to better serve our students and families and community, we want to know. We want to know what we're doing really well in, so we don't change it. And we want to know what we're weak in, so we can build. So that's really important for us.
Well, here we go. We're getting ready for 2024-25, and I will tell you, as I have this year, I have an 8th grader and a 7th grader in the system, so it will be my last year of taking kids to the same school, because next year it'll be one at Mac Trail and one at the high school. But it's for anyone who thinks that our teachers and our administrators locally don't have your kids back, they do. And if you don't think they do, talk to them. Don't go to social media and complain about it. Go to the people who can help you. Yeah,
certainly. We can't help if we don't know, and I think there
Exactly.
is that assumption that we know or we knew. We have 3,200 kids. We serve well over 6,000 parents. So we do the best we can, but we can always do better. And please just reach out and let us know what's going on. If there's something that doesn't seem right, feel right, sound right, reach out and let us know. It usually is a miscommunication, and sometimes we've just made a mistake, so we can correct that.
So any last messages for parents and students as we get ready to embark on another school year?
Well, one last plug for the community of Cadillac. One, thank you. We live in a really special place, but we do have an opportunity in this community to meet the needs of our earliest learners with preschool. And right now, our preschool slots, we have about 25 openings. We definitely want to make sure our parents with 3 to 5-year-olds go to our website, CadillacSchools.org, fill out a form for registration or an inquiry. NMCAA, same thing. They will reach out to you and make sure that if you have a child that's 3, 4, or 5 and needs a placement, that you get a placement. Actually, 2, even early on slots, I believe, are open. So we don't want to lose those spots in our community because they're state and federally funded, and they would leave the community, and they're really hard to get back. So it's a push for all programs, not just Cadillac Schools, our ISD, the YMCA. They all share in those slots, so it's really important that we push that out to our families.
And how do folks get into contact?
If they go to our website, CadillacSchools.org, and register for preschool or NMCAA, which is online as well, you can link through our website. You can get to somebody, even an informational link. You fill it out, survey, somebody will reach out to you to tell you about all the programs. So we have tuition-based, we have free. Even our free slots are not full, so even those who may not qualify can get into a free slot right now. So it's really important that families reach out.
And the benefit for your child at pre-K is huge.
It is huge. It's just exposure to language, exposure to play. There's half-day programs, there's full-day programs. So it really is about providing what the child needs and what the family needs, quite frankly. So it's really good.
All right. Anything else you want to mention before we wrap it up here?
No, just excited to get after it. Welcome our kids in. Go Vikings. And thanks so much for having me.
Here we go. It's coming up on Monday. Brand new school year. Jennifer Brown, CAP Superintendent, our guest on Cadillac Unscripted. Thank you very much.